Welcome to chapter 57 of Auditory Recollections of a Genetically Bleached Gent. How are we all going? I don't know if I like that, genetically bleached. It sounds like I'm some sort of modified humanoid, which is technically true. Although I'm not modified artificially, I've been modified through genetics. Technically, we've all been modified because that's why we all look different. See, already starting the podcast with a hella good education. My chair's really squeaky, isn't it? Like, can you guys hear that? I mean, you might need me out here. I'm going to swap chairs. So, I'm walking away from the mic. What a good start to the podcast, me swapping chairs. I'm in the radio studio, so it's like a soundproof room. So I think this podcast is going to sound damn fine. Not actually recording on the microphones, still recording on my shitty $200 microphone, despite having access to multi-million-dollar radio studios. But I don't want to be recording. Like, if this podcast sounded good, I don't know, that would be weird. It would freak me out. I wouldn't want to listen to this. If this was good, I would hate it. But I don't mind doing it because I'm like, oh, it's a bit shit, and that's the whole appeal. So, I've had a good week, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the walk to work edition. Now, I realized that I haven't mentioned the Bachelor in a while. Oh, no, I meant the Bachelorette. You notice that? Everyone still calls it the Bachelor, and it's not the Bachelor, it's the Bachelorette, because no one can be fuck saying ret. It's just like, it's such a waste of time. Oh, I'm going to be watching the Bachelor. No, I just get exhausted by the end of the word. Hey, man, I'm going to watch the Bachelorette. I can't be bothered. I always get too puffed out. So I've been watching the Bachelor, but the girl version. And boy, oh boy, they need to lock that Jared bloke up. Holy shit. If you haven't watched it, there's this bloke who's like ex-army, like he's been in the army and now he owns a vineyard. And at the start, in the first episode, he was kind of like a favorite. You're like, oh, this guy's a nice guy. And then the rape alarm got sounded. Someone had to pull it. The producer, I don't know who did it, but someone pulled it. And he's just been a murderer ever since, like, the first episode. Like, I'm pretty sure he must watch her sleep, because the amount he got infatuated with her that quickly was phenomenal. So this guy went on like one date with Sophie Monk and pretty much fell in love. And all these people are like, oh my god, I can't believe they let him on the show. It's so creepy. Dude, I can't even believe they let him near her. Like, if I was a producer on that, I'd be like, hey, this is getting really unsafe for Sophie. This guy's gonna, like, even if he doesn't win, this guy is gonna marry her. Like, he'll just get it done. You know what I mean? Like, there'll be a story in like 6 months' time where he's killed the guy who wins, and then he's locked up Sophie in a bunker, and then, you know what I mean? And all these people are gonna like, oh, how did we not see this coming? It's like, dude, you let a guy who's clearly like, I don't know, it's like he's never seen a female. Although I totally get like the thing of, I was thinking about it. So like, I've been thinking about the whole concept of these like Bachelor or Bachelorette shows. And I think, like, you know, because lots of people raise the question, like, oh, you know, how did all these girls fall in love with the guy? Or how do all these guys just suddenly fall in love with Sophie? I reckon, think about it, if you were cripplingly single and put in a house with like 20 other dudes who had egos bigger than their cocks, which is all of them, because I'm assuming they've got massive egos and tiny cocks, you would just... And there's one girl, like, there's only one girl, and for however long, I don't know how long they film it over, probably like 3 months. For 3 months, you only get to see one girl. You'd just like her, wouldn't you? Like, Sophie Monk's like 37, and there's 24-year-olds in there. Like, she's 13 years older than them. She was in year 7 before they could walk, and they're like, fuck, yeah, she goes alright. Like, the only concept where you'd ever, like, go, oh, geez, that 37-year-old, I'll give that a crack, that's the only scenario where it's like, it's still not acceptable, but it's the only scenario, it's the only scenario that'll understand a guy having a crack. And like, lots of people like always doubt, like, you know, how would they just all fall in love with Sophie? Like, not everyone's gonna like her, or not all the girls are gonna like Maddie J. It's like, dude, I don't think they do. I think they just like have nothing better to do. It's like the sole reason they're on the show, so why not give it a crack? And obviously some would like him, and some would like her, but it's not all of them. Like, you can tell the ones, that Sam bloke who got out, he didn't like her. He was just in it for the memes, and good on him. Like, he was pretty good to watch. He was creepy, actually. He ended up talking about her tits on a date. That was weird. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to bring up The Bachelorette was not to just talk a bunch of shit about it, but it was to, what was it? Oh, yeah, I thought of a thing, right? Or maybe someone sent this to me. I can't remember. Do you guys do that sometimes? You can't remember how a story, or like, no, not a story, like, I can't remember how a thought got into my head, because I get given so much information every single day. Especially now, like, I have to read the news every day for this radio shit, but I'll talk about that later. But like, I think I consume so much every day, I forget which thoughts are mine and which thoughts, like, I have to be really careful with joke writing and stuff, because I don't even remember what I think of. I think I thought of this, but someone may have emailed me this during the week. But anyway, that's a good thought. I'm just going to say someone emailed me it and not claim it as my own thought, just in case. So, wouldn't it be good if The Bachelorette, well, like, if next year, if The Bachelorette or The Bachelor was bisexual? So, like, the show was half, so say if it was a guy, The Bachelor was bisexual, half the guys were gay, and half the girls were straight. God, that'd make it a real interesting show. Like, watching, like, gay guy, like, because the gay guys might be like, oh, he's more into girls than guys, but he was like, nah, I'm 50-50 into dick and vag. Could you imagine watching that play out? Just like watching a bunch of gay guys argue about, like, just argue with straight girls about, all wanting to suck his dick. God, that'd be top quality entertainment. I would watch that shit for days. And like, it'd be awesome watching the friendships in the house build. Like, all the girls would start to become best friends with the gay guys. And it'd be awesome whenever, like, someone got rejected, they'd be way more consoling of each other. And there probably would be a lot of bitching in that version. And, you flip it the other way. So you get, The Bachelorette would be real interesting. So you get a bisexual bachelorette, a girl. So you get a bunch of lesbians and a bunch of straight guys in a house. Holy shit. Mate, the amount of punch-ons that would happen, they'd be all just, like, smashing steak and listening to, like, Black Sabbath and Guns N' Roses while they'd be so awesome. Man, see, that's kind of shit. So whoever emailed that in, or if I had that thought by myself, either way, whoever came up with that is a genius. That would be the best show ever. Like, all time, the bisexual bachelorette or bachelor. Holy shit. So, you notice that, did you see they're bringing back Bachelor in Paradise? That is that's going to be trashier than that. So if you haven't heard about this, it's this new show that's actually happening. Like, Osher Gunsberg is the host. They get back, like, all the old Bachelor and Bachelorette contestants who, like, washed up, the shitty ones, like, the bitchy ones, like Kira, your Jens. And if you don't know about these shows, just trust me. Imagine, like, 20 people who you hate on a beach, just fucking. I think that's the show. Like, I can't really think what else would happen, but I'm really keen for that. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys about that, that concept of the bisexual bachelorette, because that would blow my mind, and I want to see that shit ASAP. So if you have an uncle or a great uncle or a mum or a dad or anyone you know who even remotely is associated with Channel 10 and who's in pitching shows, can you just tell them that idea, please? And get that going, because I would love to watch that shit. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Now, on to the next order of business in this podcast. Next on the agenda is, so with this radio shit, I don't want to talk about too much, because I talked about it a lot last week, and honestly, it's the same old shit every day. You come in, you do a radio show, you work your ass off, and now I'm still here. It's 7:30, and I'm doing a podcast. So, but I've been looking forward to doing this all day. Because I have to read the news every single day, right? Which is fine. I just never used to do that before this radio shit. I wasn't like, I used to read up on The Bachelorette, but I didn't used to, like, read up on, like, the shootings in America and shit. And you just realize, like, it just makes me depressed. I don't, like, every day I go in, I'm like, gotta think of funny stuff for the radio. And then I come in and it's like, 53 die in Las Vegas. And you're like, sick. now I can't write a joke because now I'm just bummed out. Like, every news article is just depressing, and obviously everyone else knew this. I realize now why everyone else in life is so depressed, because they read the news. The reason why I've been always so happy, and like why my biggest problem is going into the Apple store and having to wait for 10 minutes, is because I never read the news. And I didn't know that all this shit was happening. Like, you hear about it. Like, to me, when it's like, oh, mass shooting or, you know, local homicide, it's just hearsay to me. Like, it was never, obviously I knew it was real. I'm not that stupid, but it was just always a thing where I was like, doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't affect me, which is like a horrible attitude to have. But, you know, I never even gave it the time. And every day I literally get news sent to me now. So it literally gets sent to my inbox and I just read shit. Like this morning, I read this article on some news.com journalist, so a girl who writes for news.com, wrote an article about how her sister became homicidal in her early 20s, and now she's in prison. Like, so she murdered someone, now she's in prison, and she wrote an article about, it was called like, what's it called? I've got the article here. We failed my sister long before she killed her housemate. And she just wrote a whole article on how ashamed her parents were, how they ignored the warning signs. Her sister was an outcast. They could have, you know, prevented this. And I'm just reading this shit going like, you know, and there's one quote in the article where her parents were like, we failed our daughter and I've never been more ashamed as a parent that my daughter is homicidal. And I'm just thinking, are you serious? Your other daughter writes for news.com. That's fucking way worse. Like, I bet you, I'm sure they're still ashamed of having a murderer as a daughter as well. But come on. Like, you know, I guess it's like one above BuzzFeed. But still, at like a party, when like people they haven't seen in years will go, oh, how are your daughters going? They must just be like, oh, they're both in prison. Because that's way better than saying, oh, my daughter writes for news.com for a living. Like, oh, my daughter's a journalist, but not. Oh, my daughter has a job, but not. Oh, my daughter's successful, but she isn't. Oh, my daughter tried to achieve her dreams, but failed. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, they're both in prison. Don't want to talk about it. And you move on. But I was just reading this whole time, like, you know, and you're supposed to feel sorry for her. There's lots of emotive language used in the articles. They got the childhood pictures of the two sisters hugging, saying how, like, how did it all go wrong? We could have prevented this. And I'm just thinking, like, this isn't news. This is like, you just start a podcast. Honestly, if you want to complain about this shit, that's why I have a podcast. I don't need a vent on a public news.com article. I invent on a public podcast. Have some fucking respect for your readers, alright? Seriously, like, I was just reading this shit and I was just like, the whole time she's like, you know, and she's speaking like she's above her sister. She's like, you know, I was always the fine one. My sister was always troubled. And I'm like, dude, you must have had a pretty traumatic childhood if you grew up and accepted, like, you must have very low self-esteem and mental problems too if you can wake up every day, go to www.news.com.au and be like, I'm making a difference. The fuck is wrong with you as well? You and your sister are both fucked up. And this is another one. This is another dumb news story I wanted to share with you guys. See, I can't say this shit on radio. It's fucking liberating. This is another one. This one's just stupid, right? I read this article that said the children of parents on Centrelink benefits, like, so kids whose parents are on Centrelink benefits are almost twice as likely to be on benefits themselves by their early 20s as children who are not. So you're more likely to be on Centrelink benefits yourself once you hit your 20s if your parents are. No shit, Sherlock. This is the kind of shit that gets emailed me every day. Like, oh, this is news. No, it's not. This isn't news at all. Okay? So there's people just... I keep forgetting these studios are soundproof. Like, there's currently, like, kids outside and I'm just yelling about homicide. And, I don't know, there's a baby out there and I have no idea if they can hear me or not. There's only one way to test it. Yeah, this is one of the most ballsy things I've ever done. I've been assured. Okay, they're still there. I've been assured these these studios are soundproof, and now I'm going to test it for sure. So I'm staring at a mum with a baby. Your baby is ugly. And she hasn't frowned at me. She just smiled. These are soundproof, ladies and gentlemen. What would I have done if she had have been like, hey, that's really rude? That's, yeah. Okay, I'm glad she didn't hear me. I'm really glad she didn't hear that. And her baby wasn't ugly, for the record. Just wanted to say it. She actually had quite a cute kid. Anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about, the Centrelink. Yeah, this article. This gets sent to me as news. That kids who have parents on Centrelink are more likely to go on Centrelink themselves. No shit, because their just family is not very well off. And this is sent to me like I'm supposed to like read it and be like, oh wow, that's strange. Of course, kids with rich parents are less likely to be on Centrelink in their 20s because they have rich parents. They don't need to be on benefits. And every time I read these dumb fucking articles, it just makes me angry that I'm like, this isn't it. Like, it's not angry that they get sent to me. I just get angry that someone else is being paid to write them. like I have an easy job. Like doing radio, that's very easy job. You know, compared to like engineering or mining or some bullshit call center or something like that. But the people who are writing these must have to churn out a minimum amount of content a day, and then they just go, oh, what's a fact? Oh, children of parents on Centrelink, and then they like go, you know, click here to find out why. You're like, dude, just use your brain for like a quarter of a fucking millisecond, and you could work out why that would be. It's because if you're on Centrelink benefits, you're not very affluent, and therefore you won't have money to give to your kids. This isn't news. Anyway, and this is a banger that got sent to me during the week. Women are being warned to stop using cucumbers to clean out their vaginas. And I read this, and I was actually surprised because I didn't realize women were using cucumbers to clean out their vaginas. Is that a thing? Like, am I weird for thinking that's weird? Like, girls, if you're, like, I don't really want to know. Like, if you're over 18... please, I cannot stress this enough. If you're over 18 and even know someone or have met someone or talked about this with someone, is this a thing that girls do? Because again, this came through my news inbox. Like breaking news, women are being warned to stop using cucumbers to clean their vaginas. And I was like, dude, the news should be breaking news, women are using cucumbers to clean their vaginas. Since when? How would that clean it? You just get cucumber residue on your flaps. I mean, what's part of a cucumber? I just don't look at a cucumber. Like when I'm in the vegetable aisle buying some fresh produce, I mean, look at me pretending that I do my own shopping, which I don't. But say, hypothetical situation, I grew the fuck up and I went and bought my own groceries and my mum didn't buy them. I'm looking at a cucumber, right? I don't look at that and be like, douche, vagina cleaner. Like that's, yeah, use that. I look at a cucumber and I'm like, 4 out of 10 vegetable or fruit or whatever it is. I think it's a vegetable. I'm an idiot, man. Cucumber's a vegetable. I mean, it's a salad. So I never know what to classify salads. Like, I think lettuce is a vegetable, but I just call it a salad because I'm bogan, you know. Because we have like salad with your meat or vegetables with your meat. Because that's, you know, our house is like meat and 3 veg, like pretty much every night. Anyway, I'm just getting off track here. But that just shocked me. So, girls, if you're well over 18 and have ever heard, or if you do it yourself, or if this is a thing, please let me know during the week. Because this shocked me to the core. This rattled me. And then it just got me thinking, like, am I using, you know, not me, actually, because I don't have a vagina, but, you know, am I supposed to clean my butthole with a carrot? Like, should I be cleaning my butthole with a cucumber? Yeah, a cucumber's the only vegetable. Does that mean any long object, like, can be used? Like, could I use, say, like, a pen or a highlighter or something like, you know, a hot dog to clean out my vag? Like, does that or is it just cucumbers? Do cucumbers, like, come with, like, soap? Like, when you put them in, do they pump out a bit of, like, detergent? Like, what's so good about a cucumber cleaning out a vagina? That's all I'm saying. It rattled my whole day. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, it just... Does that ever happen to you? You get one thing in your day that just shocks you right down to the core, and you're like, well, my day's just been spent thinking about this now. People are like, Luke, how are you? And but like verbally, I'm like, yeah, good, thanks, mate, how are you? But in my head, I'm like, you know, do you reckon Queen Elizabeth cleans out her vag with a cucumber? Because, like, she's a woman. Do all women do it? I don't know. Who knows? I asked Emily, and she was disgusted in it. You know, she was with me when I read. I was like, oh, wait, because I was reading the news article, and we were driving together, and I was like, oh, yeah, so I read her that news article. What was it again? That women, yeah, I read her that women are being warned to stop using cucumbers to clean their vaginas. And it blew her mind too, which was like, oh, maybe Emily's weird. But then I was like, nah, probably not. I think maybe just this isn't news once again. Anyway, so another thing I wanted to talk about, I broke a world record yesterday, which isn't getting nearly enough hype in my life. I put on my Snapchat story. Few people got around it. No one was nearly as impressed as I was. So when I'm saying I broke world record, so the world record for the most golf balls hit in 2 minutes is 133. So someone hit 133 golf balls in 2 minutes, right? So I don't have 2 minutes. I'm a busy guy. I couldn't be bothered to do the whole 2 minutes. You know, it just seeps. So I was like, all right, well, I divided that by 2. So I was like, how many golf balls in a minute would I have to hit to beat this record? 66.5. And I was like, look, again, busy guy, don't have a minute to spend on breaking world records. I got more important shit to do. So I was like, you know what, I'll divide that by 6. But honestly, by the time I did all this maths, I probably could have just done the 2 minutes. It took me like 5 minutes to work this out. And divide that by 6 is, I worked it out to be, we actually did the maths wrong. We're a couple of beers deep at the time, so we didn't do the maths exactly right. But it should have been 12 golf balls in 10 seconds. If I hit 12 golf balls in our 10 seconds, we actually did 11 because at the time we just worked it out wrong. So I hit 11 golf balls in 10 seconds, and so we did that as the world record, and we timed it. You can hear the video. You can, if you follow me on Snapchat, you would have seen the video. I'll post the video in the Facebook group tonight, and you'll be able to clearly see that I technically did a world record. And you know, no one really got around it. Like, I came in today, told Lewis about it. And you know, and he wasn't really, you know, rating that as an achievement. And I was like, dude, it's still a world record. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you mathematically cheat or find a loophole. A record's a record. And then a few people did hit us up about the fact that our maths was wrong and I didn't actually get a world record. But you know what? Fucking tomato, tomato, potato, potato. No one calls it potato. But you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm sick of all this, like, hate, you know, that I didn't get a world record. So if you guys want to get behind me on this one and start doing your own world records mathematically, had a crack at another one on the radio show today. It was 25 marshmallows in 1 minute, which is a lot of marshmallows. So I had another crack. I tried to do 6.25 marshmallows in 15 seconds, but Lewis stitched me up. I told him to go down and buy marshmallows. He went down and bought these Monte Carlo biscuits, which are chocolate marshmallows, and I fit 6 in my mouth, but I didn't finish chewing him. And I blame the fact that he didn't buy me actual marshmallows. I want to have another crack at that one. I should have bought marshmallows and done it on the podcast. Anyway, the point is, do not ever underestimate mathematically getting yourself the win, okay? Because people don't do this enough in life. People think, oh, you have to complete tasks, you know, you have to do the record properly. Not at all. If you can find a loophole, I'll probably respect your willingness to cheat and willingness to succeed and be a winner more than actually trying to do it properly. Because just like, I think you can respect the fact that how much I wanted to get that record, you know, by working out, by doing some division and stuff. But yeah, anyway, I just want to talk about that I can proudly say I am a world record holder. It was really, I just wanted to brag on this podcast. You know, I do a lot of complaining, but 1% of this podcast always needs to be me bragging about my personal achievements. You know, or what else is the point of having this platform? Now, before we get into questions, I wanted to do, I got some banging fun facts sent to me during the week. And it's great. It's great correspondence because every time I think, oh, let's give the fun fact a rest for a while, you guys just never cease to amaze me at the level of content. It's great. And, you know, you guys go above and beyond for horrible facts. And it's like you guys must really want to go to hell. Like, you guys must be just like, you know what, mate? But again, I'll just find a loophole to get back in heaven. I'll just do some shit challenge, cheat a bit, and I'm sure Jesus will look past the lying of it. Anyway, so I'll read an honorable mention first, and then we'll get into the fun fact. This was sent to me over Snapchat, so I don't know who sent it to me, because it was just some random username, which I forget. But this one's a real banging honorable mention. A New York man spent almost 5 months in prison in 2014, unaware that his bail was only $2. He did 5 years of hard time and had to pay $2. Now, you're probably thinking that's fun for the reasons like, oh, suck shit, like, as if what an idiot, didn't realize. Dude, the person who sucks the most in that is, the jail knew. There was someone, or his lawyer, or someone who knew that the bail was only $2, and they didn't fucking tell him. That is rude as. He did 5 years of prison. Imagine being locked in a room, like sleeping next to your own shit for 5 years, and at the end, someone was like, oh, by the way, we could have bailed you out for like 5 years ago for $2. Like, for a price of a large fry, small fries even. That's just mean, and it's mean-spirited. But thank you very much. Good honorable mention. And now for the fun fact. This one was a real banger. So I guess there's like no reason to put it off for any longer, other than perhaps just do your usual ritual, whatever you guys usually do before a fun fact. Whether that's invite people over to your house, do a Corey Worthington-sized party. Did you hear he's having a reunion? Corey Worthington, famous party boy. Doing it, well, not he, someone's made a 10-year reunion party on his street, and there's 20,000 people going on Facebook, so I'll fucking see you there. It's going to be off chops. But yeah, I feel like, whatever you guys usually do before the fun fact, just keep doing it. Whether that's getting at your own fun fact horn, or whether it's, inviting a bunch of people over, sitting them round, and all doing some kind of weird ritual. It's like, oh, this is our induction to hell, and you just turn up the fun fact kind of thing. Whatever your usual ritual is, just keep doing it, because this one is going to get you right there. So, again, sent in by the same person. Thank you very much for this contribution. Male spider mites prefer their sexual partners to be dead. Sound the fun fact horn! Holy shit, that was a banger. Like, even for us, you know what I mean? Like, we've had some banging facts, but there's no way you're expecting a necrophilic spider fact. That is top tier stuff. So thank you very much to whoever sent that in. Fuck, that was thoroughly enjoyable. Like, it's the weird part is, like, I actually I do the fun fact, and I'm honestly in a better mood for the rest of the podcast. Oh, another thing I wanted to quickly talk about before we do questions quickly. Come in every day to the radio station, and there's office bananas, like communal bananas, just out on display. That is the shit. That is like, dude, I was bringing in bananas for the first week like a fucking idiot, bringing my own bananas. I went down to Coles downstairs and bought bananas. What a moron. And then I come upstairs and someone's like, oh, did you grab a banana from the communal banana thing? And I was like, it was one of those, like, I wish I had a record scratch. It was like, say what? And like rewind that shit. And like, did you grab a banana from the communal bananas? And I was like, there's communal bananas. And someone's like, yeah, where else would you get a banana from? And I'm like, fuck, I got this from Coles. And they just laughed at me. Because everyone else has been... Because I noticed that's why I bought a banana. Because I saw like 3 other people eating bananas. And I was like, holy shit, I could go a banana right now. Everyone must be getting these from Coles. Not at all. There's a basket in the kitchen. And they're just free. I don't know why this has like made me so happy. But it made my week. Every week this week, having free bananas. Like, honestly, I haven't been paid yet for the radio. No money's hit my bank account. But I've eaten a fuckload of bananas. I'm not even mad that they haven't paid me. Because I'm just like... I don't care. There's bananas here. Like, I've been doing 10-hour days for free bananas, and honestly, that's fine with me. So, I just wanted to tell you guys about that. That just made my whole week. Like, I think free anything, but especially bananas. It's just like, hey man, do you want free potassium? Hey man, do you want to feel good for an hour after you've eaten this? I'm like, fuck yeah, for free, of course. Coles were probably laughing at me, like, I didn't actually speak to a person because I'm not an idiot. I went to the self-serve checkout. Does anyone actually do that? Voluntarily go, I want to speak to a human when I buy like one thing. I don't remember the last time I got served by a human at a supermarket. Like, I'm putting people out of a job, and I love it because I don't have to speak to them. Anyway, I'm going to answer some questions, and then I'm going to bloody get out of here because it's getting late, and I need to catch the train home. So, the first bloody question is from Howie. What do you got to say, Howie? He said, hey, Luke, can I call you Uncle Cheeky Chubba or something? No, you can't. So if you could perhaps refrain from that, that'd be dandy. Also, I think I'm your first emailer who is over 20. I think that makes me an old man in your eyes. Call me Howie, eh? You write like a 50-year-old. You write like my mum emails you, so I think you're like 50. So you are an old man in my eyes. Just a quick one. I need help with a workmate who keeps undercutting and sniping the boys to make himself look better in front of the boss. Whoa! You do not, if there's one thing you do not snipe, okay? You can snipe a member of ISIS. You can snipe someone on a first-person shooter video game if you have a sniper gun and you're camping, okay? Which is dog, but you can still do it. But you do not snipe the boys. Holy shit, I already hate this bloke. Alright. He thinks it's grouse by talking shit on the work site and blaming everyone else for his fuck-ups. Sucking up to the managers, though, because they don't seem to realise how much he fucks up. What a wanker. Alright, well, sniping the boys. What kind of sniper weapon does he use, man? Does he use like a 40 caliber be a dog? Or a 60 caliber fuck your missus when you're not looking? Like, what kind of artillery is he packing, this bloke? He also tries to represent us like a team leader, but we've told him to fuck off because his views on problems at work aren't relatable at all with the rest of us. Yeah, because he's probably gone, hey guys, on the weekend, I dogged my mate. And you're like, wait, that is an unrelatable shit because you don't dog the boys, okay? Oh my God, I hate this bloke. He won't listen to us. He keeps running his mouth and makes us look bad as a team. It makes it hard to want to even come to work. Yeah, because you got some bloody camper sitting out there, like perched on top of the work site. He's got his sights on the bosses and he's just firing kiss-ass attempts at your boss. And you know what? That would piss me off too. What do you say next? None of us want to leave our jobs, but we don't know what to do because it seems like our bosses don't realize how fucked he is. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck with a toxic workmate and I don't know what to do next. If you could help, that'd be mad. Cheers heaps, Howie. Man, I would try and get him fired. Be a dog. Like, if he's going to snipe the boys, I'd come packing. So I reckon, dude, you should try and frame him for something shit. Like, I don't know, try and frame him for doing something on the work site. I bet you there's a way where you could get your boss to see how shit he is. There's always a way where you can, like, no one can get away with being shit for that long. Although I've been doing it my whole entire life, so who knows? Like, here's the thing, I'm a fucking moron as well, like your workmate. But my boss knows I'm a moron, I think. Like, I don't know, like... You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if he's hiding it from the boss, I don't really try and hide it. What a dog. Yeah, I would honestly, like, okay, the smart thing to do, okay, I'll give you two types of advice. The smart thing to do would not be a dibby doer, but maybe, like, band together, like, have an intervention maybe with him, with some of the other guys would be the first thing. Like, hey, man, you know, you're not pulling your weight, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the problems are, address it with him. If you haven't addressed it with him, I think it's fair to bring it up with him and then see if he changes. If he doesn't, all go together to the boss. It's kind of dobbing, but look, it's dogging the boy. It's dogging the boy. You know, if you're the boys, you can dog a non-bloke anyway, because he's been a dog anyway. So maybe tell the boss. That's my actual advice if you don't want to get fired yourself. But if you're willing to risk it for the biscuit, here's what you do. So I'm sure one of your mates has a sister or something, or, you know, you could do this with any type of girl, really. If you want to prove him that he dogs the boys, Get a girl on down to the work site. I'm assuming he's going to start hitting on her. You could do it that way and like frame him for being a dog in that, in that aspect. But that your bosses won't really care if he's hitting on some chick. Just frame him, man. I would just try and get the dude fired. That's what I would do. I would just like rock up to work every single day and make it my life mission to get this bloke out of there. So yeah, maybe spend less time working, more time trying to get your fucking mate fired. That would be my advice. I don't really know how to get someone fired on a work site. Like, I don't know what's considered bad. Probably like, don't like frame him like for a crime like sexual assault, because that could ruin his life. But, do like something like, oh, he didn't wear gloves when you're supposed to. What an idiot. I guess that wouldn't get you fired. I don't know what gets you fired on a work site, I'll be honest, Howie, so I'm not much help there. But yeah, frame the dude. Fuck him. Alright, this isn't... good luck with that, Anthony. My actual advice is have an intervention with him, but then if he doesn't do that, just fucking get him fired. Get him out of there. Update from Anthony. So last week, there was an email from Anthony. Anthony's parents really wanted him to do a uni degree and wanted him to be a doctor, but he wants to do comedy. I gave him some advice, and this is what he said back. Hey, I really appreciate that you took the time to read my email. It means so much that someone I admire a lot would give advice to a future comic. Here's what I'm going to do. So Anthony has decided, because of the parent situation, I'm going to have to do biomed. It's a 3-year degree at the end of it. What the fuck? This is not the advice I gave you. So he didn't take my advice, but that's okay. He said, because of the parent situation, I'm going to have to do biomed. It's a 3-year degree at the end of it. I can choose to do a postgraduate degree to become a doctor. And then he said, I won't. So he doesn't want to become a doctor. So you're just choosing to waste 3 years of your life. Sick. Just as long as you know that you'll never get those 3 years back. If you're fine with that, then go ahead. I was thinking about how you said to dedicate all my time to comedy. I really want to, but I'll probably get a part-time job to make some money next year, because I don't want to live at home any longer than the end of this year. I'm always thinking about comedy, like funny jokes to write. I've started writing my first set, so I'll be ready for an open mic early next year. I need to do comedy. I owe it to myself to do the thing that will actually make me happy. Kind of like Lewis, I guess. Well, and also me. Dude, everyone I know does comedy does it to make them happy, man. I specified a clinical depression because I thought that would imply I've actually been diagnosed. I'm a lot better than I was at the start of the year. Meditation is going well. That's awesome, man. I promise I'll use lots of lube when I fuck my parents over. I did tell him to fuck his parents, but not enough. I was like, dude, fuck your parents, man. You should do what you want. And then Lewis came in right on fuck your parents, and he's like, did you just give advice to tell some kid to fuck his parents? And I was like, absolutely I did. So it's good you're going to lose lube, because they probably haven't been fucked in a while. Because they sound pretty uptight. Where was I up to? Started the... Oh, meditation's going well. Okay, it's a little bit shit. They won't be able to understand that I love comedy, but they don't understand they are horrible people. Dude, I think it sounds like you have a really bad living situation at home. I honestly think you should get a part-time job, move out, and try and do comedy, because that sounds like you'll be happy. You won't be around that home situation anymore. I do agree with you. You should get a part-time job next year, but it sounds like you really, I don't know, it's hard for me to, speak on your behalf, but from what you've told me, the information that I've been presented with, it doesn't sound like you want to do this biomed shit at all. It sounds like you live and breathe dick jokes, which is a thing I definitely understand. I don't care what they will think. By the way, you do care what they think, man. You said at the start, I'm going to have to do biomed. It's a 3-year degree, but I'm not going to use it because of the parent situation. So you do care what they think. But which is fine. Obviously, you want your parents to like you. You don't want to wind up being the dude who's like, yeah, I hate my parents hate me. Like, that sucks as well. By the way, they don't know I have depression. Really? Your parents don't know anything about you. I think you need to tell your parents all this shit, man. They need to know that you want to do comedy. Not even that. They definitely need to know you've suffered from depression. That's really important to tell them so they can have some sort of understanding, man. That's really sucks. But yeah, I hope you can feel comfortable one day to tell them that, man. Because that's important. That's another thing they won't understand that they caused. Oh, so they caused your depression. Okay, well, I still think they need to know that you've been suffering from that, because I think they'd want to know that. If I was a parent of a kid and I didn't realize that, I'd be horrified, and I'd absolutely want to know. I'm not going to be a doctor, but I'm still going to have to do 3 years of uni. I know I won't hate it, but I bet it will be a little bit annoying. I think you will hate it. Not that you actually hate attending and doing the doctor thing, but I think you'll hate it knowing that you're only doing this because your parents want you to, kind of thing. Like, that's the bit. I didn't hate this studying I wanted to do. You know, my parents were, credit to them, they were really awesome about doing comedy and stuff. They were like, yep, if you want to do this, do it. Just, just like warning. They were obviously like, do you have a backup plan? And I was like, no. And I think they were concerned, but man, I just gave it fucking everything. And now I think they see that it's kind of starting, like it's just on the verge of almost starting to maybe pay off in the future. Anyway, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. One day you'll see me perform on stage. Thanks, you legend. Good luck, man. I really hope you pursue it. If I could give any last advice, my main advice would be you definitely need to talk to your parents about your depression. All comedy and biomed degree aside, that's super important. And anyway, I'm glad you're feeling a lot better about that. And I hope the biomed degree goes well, man. I just hope you don't end up hating yourself halfway through it. Anyway, one last question, then I'll get out of here. G'day, it's Nick. I love emails that start with that, like, g'day, mate, it's Nick. Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing, like, I listen to podcasts sometimes, like Bill Burr or whatever, and I feel like I know them. You're like, oh my God, me and Bill Burr are like best friends. And you guys know fucking everything about me. But people has to open an email with like, g'day guys, it's like, g'day mate, it's Nick. And I'm like, yeah, Nick, I never met ya. Like, unless we have met, Nick. And if so, I'm sorry. Anyway, so g'day, it's Nick. What are your favorite podcasts to listen to? Good question. I'm going to be shameless. My favorite podcasts to listen to are Luke and Lewis on Triple M Modern Digital. But it's just Luke and Lewis on iTunes. So if you haven't checked out the radio show, would highly recommend. It's like to give you guys some sort of insight of what the radio show's like. I'm really enjoying it, by the way. It's like genuinely some of my favorite content that I've ever made. It's like this kinda, but like more structured. So like, say if I was like wanted to talk about the Bachelorette, we'd just talk about it for 3 minutes and we'd really structure it so it's all fucking fire, and then we go out on a laugh kind of thing. It's like that, but we do like 8 things a show. So I think you'll like it. If you like this podcast, you'd definitely like the radio show. So yeah, go check that out if you want. And other favorite podcasts, like, this is not even like trying to plug my mates. Like, I really enjoy Lewis's here's the thing, I really enjoy Lewis's podcast, but I don't know if I enjoy it because I know him personally and I listen to it and go, oh, what a dickhead. But I listen to that in the car sometimes. I really enjoy Josh Wade's podcast, the Conspiracy Podcast. He has awesome guests on it. I loved his recent episode with Will Sparks. I'm not even like a fan of DJing or even Will Sparks, but holy shit, it's really good gaining a newfound respect for people and other artists. I've been on his podcast before, so if you want to start with that episode, I was on the 2nd episode ever. But go listen to the Conspiracy Podcast. He's killing it right now, Josh. Other podcasts that I don't know the people are, I really like, I just like listening to podcasts with comedians, man. Like, I always listen to just serious interview podcasts. Like, there's one called the Comedian Podcast with Stuart Goldsmith. Anthony, if you're listening to this, I would go check out that one, and anyone who likes comedy. And Bill Burr, I love Bill Burr's podcast. He does what I do. He just rambles like a dickhead, but in such a way where I'm just in awe of how he does it. So yeah, those are my favorite podcasts to listen to. Oh, and also Hamish and Andy. I listen to Hamish and Andy. I haven't missed a Hamish and Andy episode since 2010. So it's a bit weird now because like today, like working in the same building, you walk down the corridor and you're like, hey, and they're like, hey, and it's like weird because like again, it's like the thing of, I know so much about them. I've followed them for years, and now you just have to be a peer. And I think like the first I was a bit starstruck, and now it's like the wall's been shattered for me kind of thing, and now I'm just like, they're just 2 really talented people with a cool job. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like I still idolize them a bit, I guess, but not more in the sense like I just admire their work ethic, and what they've achieved and all their content. But anyway, I don't really get starstruck anymore. which is sad in a way. Like it's kind of, I don't know. It's just weird. Like if you had told me a year ago, I wouldn't be starstruck over them. Because even like 10 or 20 podcasts ago, I met them and I was freaking the fuck out. And now I just, work down the corridor, which is awesome. Anyway, that's enough. It's getting very late. Thank you guys for checking out this podcast. Hope you had a good week. Send in questions. Send in your life advice. I'd love to help you. Let me know if you got that guy framed at work. This has been another episode of, what did I call the podcast? Another episode of Auditory Recollections of a Genetically Bleached Gent. Oh, shit. Also, I was about to leave. I forgot. I'm coming to New Zealand this week. So if you're listening to this during the week, I'm coming to New Zealand with Lewis. He's doing his first ever solo tour there. It's the first time I'll be ever performing in New Zealand. I think we start in Wednesday night at Queenstown. Then we go Dunedin, Christchurch, then Auckland on the Saturday. Don't ask me why we're not doing Wellington. I didn't book it. Lewis didn't book it. It was out of our hands. That just sucks. So yeah, if you're if you're in New Zealand and want to see me or Lewis Spears live, Lewis is awesome. He's going to be doing the show that he's performing, the stand-up special. So if you want to see stand-up special before anyone, come to the shows. It's probably like $25 or some shit. It's super cheap, and it's going to be a sick night. I'll be doing like, the best 20 minutes of my show this year. And it's going to be fucking fun. It'll be super intimate shows. We'll be hanging out with everyone afterwards. So if you're in New Zealand, it'll honestly be the only time to catch me or Lewis I don't know about Lewis, but it'll definitely be the only time to catch me in New Zealand. I'm going to go as far as saying in the foreseeable future, like in the next 2 years. I definitely won't be touring there next year, kind of thing. Maybe the year after, we'll see. But yeah, hopefully the year after, actually. But yeah, probably not even next year as well. So if you guys want to see me in New Zealand, this would be an awesome opportunity. And Lewis's show is fucking amazing too. Couldn't recommend it enough. So I just thought I'd say that. If you're in New Zealand, head down, find out where the shows are. It's all on Lewis's website. Just Google Lewis Spears New Zealand and it will come up. And yeah, hoping to see some of you guys there. And if you come to a show, make sure you say hi. I don't bite. Some people are always like, oh, hi. And they too, just come and say hi. I'm always up for a chat. Anyway, this was Auditory Recollections of a Genetically Bleached Gent with a genetically bleached asshole. What a shit way to end. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Hope to see you guys in New Zealand.